My wife doesn't worry the way I do.
How do you deal with the anger when it does come?
How do I deal with the anger?
Yeah.
I'm the one she has to deal with. I'm a little bit more like that.
Well,
She's way
beta.
more even-keeled because she has so much faith. So if there's something going on and I'm freaking out, my wife goes, hey, it's gonna be okay, because she prays.
And what do you do when a little anger comes out of her? So she deal with your anger in that way. How do you deal with hers?
We fight and then we let it go.
Okay.
Yeah, we let it go, and then she's very good at letting it go because she doesn't take it personally.
Right.
But I'm a bit of an ogre, man. So I used to get ganged up, my first wife and my daughter, right? They used to gang up
so
on
you've
me.
been married before?
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
your second marriage?
Second marriage.
What?
Come on, man. It took me some time. But my first wife and my daughter, they would just gang up on me, or so I decided, so I thought. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was traveling, I'm doing my thing, I come back in, it's my house, but there was just things. People decided to bully up on you, right?
Right.
I'm being unfair to my wife and daughter, but this is what it was. And I would realize, I was like, I'm getting bullied here. So I'm just gonna cause a little energy. So I'd open the fridge. The fridge is full of food. I go, there's no food in the fridge. She go, what do you mean? I go, there's no food. And I just slammed the door. And my daughter and my wife were both looking at me like this, like, what is this ogre? What is this crazy person doing?
Yeah.
But that was the only way that's how I would put everybody on notice. Now, I'm not saying that's good, but it was this dance.
Yeah.
It's this dance dynamic that you would do, And then she'd have her own version of that. And that's the problem. Sometimes with relationships, it becomes, it's very easy for men and women to get into that antagonistic power dynamic.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what you're going back to. Maybe that's what Paul was saying, or maybe that's what religion was saying, which the notion behind a wife should obey her husband was more about the idea that let's just take care of this power dynamic right away so that we don't get into this. I don't know.
So are you the head of your wife?
Of the household? Yeah, I think so.
Of your wife.
I don't know. I don't think about these. These are questions I don't really think about.
And why not?
They've just never been posed to me.
Oh.
I don't know if they have relevance to me in this world, in a sense.
Do you think it's important that you should be the head of your wife?
Well, I think it might be more important to make sure that your values align so that you don't have to have the real arguments for me in relationships are, you have one way of raising my children that I totally disagree with. So if my wife was somebody who thought that gender was a construct, or that my kids should never be scolded, or that my kids should, or she had a lot of new age ideas, we'd have a problem.
Right.
Because I veer more traditional, maybe more conservative, you understand? Because I just think that, I believe that tradition is an experiment that worked. I'm quoting my friend Andrew about that, but that's an interesting thing to say, because, so it's very important if you're gonna find your mate, that you're gonna marry, that you align with that person morally and value-wise. So that you don't have to get into this, you don't gotta get married now, and now all of a sudden you realize this person doesn't even hold any of the values. Now we're really gonna get into this.
A mess.
It's a mess, man.
Yeah.
So take care of that before that,
right,
so that you already understand, she respects me, she respects the decisions I make, because she knows that the decisions I make align with her values. So we have harmony, man.
And so do you believe that it's important that you should be the head of your wife?
I don't think it's important to get into that. I don't know, the head, what do you mean? So to be the one who's the final decision maker? Is that what you mean?
I mean, do you think that it's important that you, the husband, is the head of the wife? And you should be.
You mean, I don't know so the brain or the head? What do you mean by the head?
You're the light of the family, and that your wife should look to you to see the right way to go.
No.
You don't?
No, man.
And why not?
Because I think she's got some good ideas. I've had ideas that weren't as good as hers.
But there's no such thing as a good idea.
Why not?
Because ideas are not good.
Well, so you have a life decision to make, right? She might have a better perspective on that. She's smart. I don't know what kind of women you've been around, but my wife's smart, bro.
But women
you
are
married?
not women are not smarter than the men.
Have you ever been married?
No, I almost got married twice.
Okay, so you had never been married.
Right.
Okay.
Meaning what?
Well, I got my black belt in marriage.
Oh,
you might
God.
still be a white belt. Yeah, I think I know why you haven't been married.
No.
Because you're creating this old-fashioned dynamic. Why haven't you ever been married?
Well, I got engaged twice. As soon as I got engaged, the women tried to control. You know how women love to control?
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to let anyone control me because I know the order, and I wasn't going to let anyone bring me out of that order.
How'd they try to control you?
You know how women tell you, oh, do this or do that. Do you want this? Do you want that? You work too much. You blah, 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 right? And I wasn't going to fall for that. I like that order. But you don't seem to know that or think that it's important that you should even be the head of your wife.
I mean, I don't care about that stuff.
Really?
No, man, because I believe in harmony. I want to be able to
How
come.
will you have harmony if you're not the head of your wife? You can't get it any other way.
Yeah, maybe I am the head of I don't think about it, though. Maybe I am. I'm older than my wife.
How old are you? Oh, how many years?
She's 35, I'm 58.
Oh.
Which is, probably should be
Nice
illegal. It
age.
should probably be illegal. But you know what I'm saying?
No, that's perfect.
Yeah, but so there's a respect factor there, but that she has for me and I have for her.
What is it like?
That's a main thing, by the way, I would say. With my wife, I respect her. I respect her brain and I respect her judgment.
Really?
Yeah, man, she's cold. Her judgment is You want to know something? I hate saying it out loud. I'm going to say it out loud. We've had arguments. Plenty of arguments. I don't think I've ever been right.
Really?
I mean, I hate to say it, but I don't think I've ever been right.
And she's
Listen,
always
man,
right.
I'm not some liberal dude. I'm not one of those guys that go, we're pregnant. No, she's pregnant. I'm not one of these guys,
Right.
okay?
Thank you.
I don't like that stuff. But
Right.
I'm saying to you, I think she's always been right. Hey, you know what? She's in a lot of ways, she's got more faith than I do. She's a lot more sensible in many ways. I'm hot. I'm passionate. I'm irrational a lot of times. I go a little nuts.
But that's sad, man.
I know, man. I'm a work in progress, Jesse. What do you want from me? What do you want? You want me to have perfect peace of mind? He wants the Buddha. Who told him I'm the Buddha? I mean, I'm a work in progress. That's why I'm here talking to the Reverend.
What a mess. So you
But
don't.
wait a minute. You haven't been married.
No.
Do you wish you had been?
No.
What do you mean?
And I grew up wanting to be married.
Okay.
Really?
Because you're a traditional dude.
Right. I wanted, and I had planned to get married, buy a house.
But then you ran at the first sign of conflict.
I never ran. I don't run.
See, I know the trigger words.
No, I don't run. It's just that I would never let anyone control me. It's just not in my nature.
Yeah, but I don't think I get controlled.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So because you're not alpha.
No, I'm.
Beta.
He didn't. Oh man. Well, that's a problem. Is that I every time I try to be.
I'm sorry. Hold on. You move. Are you nervous?
No, we're good.
You see it?
Yeah. Is there a lie detector test on this thing? I'm alpha. I promise.
Bring your chair back up to the little white dot there.
Where? Oh, right there. Okay,
Yeah,
good. Just so we can center me.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. You're right. You never control because you beta.
I'm beta because I'm a beta. I'm producing estrogen as I speak. Yeah, that's what it is. I might start crying.
But what is that like, being married and your wife doesn't obey you, you're not the head of your wife, and you say that she's smarter than you, which I don't believe, but I understand that you believe it, and I understand why you believe it. But what is that like, living a life like that?
Listen, the household is full of harmony, humor. My cortisol levels are low. There's no power dynamic. What I like about my wife is that she has no problem being a stay-at-home mom with my children,
Right.
and having me go out there and fight the battles.
How many children do you have?
I got 4 altogether.
Uh-oh.
2 from my first marriage, and my first wife was the same way. So I married traditional women.
Right.
So that might help.
And did you?
Yeah. So I come from my mother's
help.
traditional. My mother's traditional.
Oh.
My dad was the guy who worked. She stayed at home.
Right. Oh, okay.
And so I came from that dynamic.
Right on.
So my wife, Irish Italian, currently comes
Are
from
you
a traditional.
white or Jewish?
I'm white.
Oh, okay.
So my wife comes from that traditional, Italian Irish Christian.
Yeah.
So my wife she had her own job and all that, but my wife, once we had kids, she stays at home with my kids. She raises the children. So we have a very traditional household. So maybe I don't have to get into those kind of questions because it's already that way.
What do you think will happen if one day after today you realize, you know what, this is not working the way it's going, and you become alpha with your wife? What do you think? How do you think she will handle you becoming alpha?
I'm already alpha though. She's attracted me because that's, I would argue that my first wife and my second wife were attracted to my.
Your first wife and second wife?
Yeah.
How many times you been married?
2.
Oh, your second wife.
No, so my second, my current
I got
wife.
you. Okay.
But I would argue that they are attracted to men who have a forward tilt, like a man who I'm a competitive, fairly aggressive man. I'm not an abusive man, but I'm aggressive in the world. I'm competitive. I want the best for, so if I have a family, so my kids, the most important thing to me is my kids and that I provide for them. And I'm not going to lose in this game. I'm going to do whatever it takes.
I like that.
You understand?
Yeah.
So I think they're drawn to that. Now, I always say that for me there's a certain kind of dude, if you're going to win in this world, and winning is hard because it's always a fight. It's a fight, right? It just is. Like you're competing, you're trying to be better, you're just dealing with a lot, man. And that requires a certain amount of aggression. It's a kind of man, it's a type of man that resonates with a lot of maybe yang energy, male energy. And I think a lot of women are drawn to that. They're attracted to that. So my wife, who came from a traditional background, whose father and her grandfathers were those men, she's drawn to somebody who grew up that way too, and who emulates that.
Amazing.
You understand?
So
I don't know. So we didn't have to get into those conversations. Now you're talking to new age people now. Maybe you're used to guys who are like in these dynamics where it's like 100%. Like see a lot of new age kind of couples are like they won't even discuss the difference between male and female energy.
Yeah.
Male and female dynamic. Because no, we're completely equal. It's got to be 50-50. That's ridiculous.
Right.
You'll never make a relationship work that way.
Never.
Because sometimes she's doing 90% of the work. You're doing 10, but you're doing a lot. You're fighting battles over here, man. She's at home doing her thing, but you're out there doing your thing.
So let me ask, all I can prove to you if you're beta or alpha, your first child, was it a boy or a girl?
Girl.
Beta.
Hey, who said? That came right out too. You didn't even let me finish. I said girl before I even got oral. Before I got that the L out, you were like beta.
Real men made boys first.
Well, real men, that's not true. Let me give you some
Because
stats.
when I was growing up, I knew no one that made girls first.
So your science is faulty.
When I made my first child, black people make babies out of wedlock, right? You know about that, right?
That's so anti-Christian.
What do you mean?
No, I'm kidding.
It's black.
It's No, but listen, I got a stat for you.
And when I made my first child, it was a boy.
I know, but I got a stat for you.
Because I knew the secret to making boys first.
No. See, no. You're off. I'm gonna tell you why. The science, if you look at all the Spartans, every Navy SEAL, Tier 1 commando, Delta Force guys, Green Berets, race car drivers, all of them almost always have girls.
You know why, right?
Because their body temperatures run hot.
No.
Why?
They're mama's boys.
Damn, they're beta too?
Uh-huh.
Damn! I'm learning new things, man. I'm just like a Navy SEAL. It's terrible. I love it. Yeah, so that's interesting though, those questions, because maybe the dynamic is already there, You're a product of your culture. You're a product of your upbringing. You're a product of the family structures that you come from, right?
Yeah.
So I never really had to think about that stuff. But I will say that when I would see guys, I'm gonna get in trouble for this, but like if I have a friend, some of those guys who tell their wives everything and they're best friends with their wives.
Yeah.
I don't trust that guy.
Right on.
I'm not saying,
No, you're right. Absolutely.
I'm like, because I can't, there's certain things that you tell a man, there's just certain things in life that belong in that male space.
Yeah, that's right. Do you think a man should ever marry an educated woman?
Well, Yeah, I like education for women. I have no problem with
do
that.
you think that a man should ever marry an educated woman?
Sure, you can do that.
Because I noticed that I've seen that educated women don't make for good wives and mothers.
I don't know the data on that. I like education for men and women. I think education is a good savior.
And why do you like it for women?
Well, because I think that education is for everyone. I think let's do an experiment here. When you take one side of your population, which is women, let's do a traditional society. Japan had this problem for a long time. It's a very patriarchal society. And men were almost always the ones that did all the things the innovation,
right.
That ran business and stuff like that.
Yes.
Women were really, and this is most societies where women are essentially second-class citizens, or at least they are bred to be home and not that smart. And the problem with that, actually, is when you take half your population and you don't educate them, and especially the women that want to be educated, the women that overlap with men, who have great ideas, who might be gifted surgeons or gifted violinists or gifted entrepreneurs, your society suffers a little bit.
No.
You don't have innovation.
No, that's not true.
No?
An
Let me get my water
uneducated
here.
woman,
Let me wet my mouth.
Her husband is taking care of the stuff, and she's home watching over the children, doing the housework and all that. She is a better woman than an educated woman because she's in her proper role, and she loves that role. She's not jealous of the man. She never compete with him, and she obeys her husband without a thought because she's in her proper role.
I got a solution for you.
And she loved doing that, and that's how it was in America at one time, and it made America a better Christian society and a better America. And if you notice, as soon as the women became educated, everything went to hell in a handbasket. The women went out of control, not because women are jealous of men. They're jealous of men, so they want to be equal to men. They want the same pay. They want everything the same. And
Equal to men.
And it's because they're jealous of the men. And
I got a
they want
solution
to
for
be
you.
equal to a man, which would never happen.
Okay, I got a better solution. Watch this. What do you think of this? So it's true that that third wave feminism has painted traditional womanhood, family, home, tending to the hearth, giving the home a heart,
Right.
and all that. It's not only been attacked, you've been told that you are, wasting your life and all that stuff, right? There's been a lot of that. To the point even where with this transgender thing now, it's a snake eating its own tail. Now a man can decide he's a woman without even getting cross-sex hormones or anything.
Yeah.
And just, this was the madness of it all. And said, well, now you got to treat me on the exact same level, so there's no real difference. Well, I would say this, a society should provide equal opportunity of education. So if you're a woman and you want to get your PhD, that should absolutely be promoted and allowed.
No.
Allowed. Hold on.
No.
And then the other women who want to be traditional can do that too. So you need freedom of
Why
expression.
does a woman need to be educated?
Because you don't want to. So Jesse Lee Peterson, are you telling me that you wouldn't even allow women to get educated?
Why should a woman be educated?
Where would you stop their education?
At the house.
So they wouldn't even go to school.
They can go to high school.
Hey man, is this 1950? Where are we? 1920? What happened? Am I on a time capsule right now? Am I getting punked? Where are we?
They can go to high school if they want.
If they want. No college.
Right.
Stop them. Stop them with the guards.
But
We need the National Guard out here. We got all these women. With all this estrogen trying to break their way into these institutions of higher learning. I can't have it.
in the good old days, women were not allowed to vote, right?
In the good old days.
Right.
Jesse?
When men were men.
We're both canceled. We're both canceled just for being here.
When men were men and boys were boys, women were not allowed to vote. You know about that, right?
I do.
You do
I know about
that.
the suffragists.
And also, you couldn't vote unless you owned land.
What's that? Yeah, if you were a landowner, if you were a white Christian
If
landowner.
you didn't have land, you couldn't vote.
Yeah,
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Do you agree with me we should go back to those times?
I do not agree with you on that, no.
And why not?
Because I don't think land ownership, especially in Los Angeles. You ever try to buy a house in Los Angeles?
If you can only vote if you own property, then the prices in LA would be perfect. Because what happened is when these people vote, they're voting in all this kind of stuff, and the proper owners have to pay for it. The taxes goes up, and you're paying for babysitting, you're paying for
There's a lot going on.
all the school stuff.
I think the enemy is not
But-
land ownership. I think education is our biggest the lack of education in the American
taxes
populace.
and this voting stuff.